我们没有忘记你们，你们的家人也没有忘记你们，你们的老首长没有忘记你们，祖国没有忘记你们。
既高兴又难过。高兴的话呢，他们回来了，70年才回家；难过的话是我们活着回来了，他们牺牲在朝鲜。
举行这么大的庄严隆重仪式，把战友接回来了。祖国的想念，战友的想念，了却了我们心情。
我是退役军人，民后线退役军人事务局的。今天来是邀请你参加在沈阳举行的抗美援朝烈士迎回安葬仪式。
Affairs. And today I'm here to give you a letter of invitation for you to participate in the burial ceremony for the remains of the Korean War soldiers in Shenyang.
心情很激动。我这个通知这个下午
I feel very sentimental. I'm very emotional. Our party, our country managed to bring back the remains of my brother. Wu Xionghui is my brother. He joined the army in 1951. At the time, he was only 17 years old. He died at the age of 20 years old. In July 1953, he sacrificed his life in North Korea. He was at Unit 218 of the Army of the 73rd Army. He sacrificed his life for this war, and I feel very sad. I have but one brother, but he joined the army and lost his life in a battleground. He died for Chinese People's War, aiding North Korea against American aggression. And this is the certificate of martyrs by my brother. This is the only photo left by my brother. He doesn't have anything else. In the back of the photo carries the name of my brother. It also indicates the date of the mailing, and there's also a stamp. I have only one photo of my brother. I worried that this may wear out, so I just copied another photo. Wu Qiukui cannot be at the burial ceremony in Shenyang. His son will attend the ceremony on his behalf. I'm bringing with me the specialties of my hometown. I will sacrifice this in front of the tomb of my uncle. Brother, you are finally back. You are buried in Shenyang. I very much want to see you there.
各位网友，大家好，我是总台央视记者齐丽丽。我此时此刻所在的位置呢是沈阳抗美援朝烈士陵园的正门口。在昨天，也就是9月2号的时候呢，第8批在韩志愿军烈士遗骸在我空军专机的护航之下，从韩国启程回到辽宁沈阳。109位在韩志愿军烈士及其1226件遗物
were brought back to China. A total of 109 fallen soldiers were brought back. At the Shenyang International Airport, there was a ceremony held. And after the ceremony, military trucks carried the remains of the fallen heroes to this cemetery. They selected military trucks because, as we have learned in the interviews, that 70 years ago, many of these fallen soldiers, many of those heroes, they went to the front line of the battlefield on military trucks. So this is a moment of reflection, a moment of memorizing their past. 70 years ago, when we picked them back, they are no longer there. They are fallen soldiers. And we want them to have a ride in a city where they passed through 70 years ago. And this morning at the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs, we are going to host a burial ceremony. We actually have arrived here at 6 o'clock this morning, and behind us you can see a board full of characters, and this is a online and offline activity initiated by Shenyang municipal government, and this is a board for messages to the fallen heroes. And this morning when we arrived, a lot of the people, they were still writing on this board. And look at this sentence. You patrol on Chinese borders, you stand tough at the battleground. You may run short of oxygen, but you are never short of spirits. And your mission is more important than the lives that you may consider. Welcome back, and let's pay tribute to our heroes. A lot of us express tribute to these heroes in this way, and we want to say a thank you because today's life, today's happy life, is a result of their sacrifice. Although these words fall short in expressing our gratitude to their sacrifice, but we want to use this format to express how much we owe to them. And check out this line. Welcome back, heroes. A tribute to you all. From the calligraphy, you can see that this is done by not an adult. This is actually written by a 5th grader. So we found them, and let's have a word with them. So you're the mother of this little child. So what made you here? And what brought you and your daughter here? Have you told the story to your child? Yes, I told my daughter that it was a very important period of history. All the children should learn about this part of the history. I believe that she should be here to feel the atmosphere, and also this is a chance of tribute for the soldiers. What's your name? My name is Zhang Ran. How old are you? I'm 9 years old. So you wanted to bring a green pen to write a message on this message board. So why do you choose the color of green? Because green represents life and hope. So what was on your mind when you left this message? Where did you pick up the story? Did you learn it from textbooks, or did you learn it from your mother? I learned it from library, and also my mother tells me a lot about the stories of the Korean War. In classrooms, we have a textbook entitled Huang Jiguang, so we have learned it from our classroom. I heard that yesterday at your school, the school organized a collective watch of this ceremony, welcoming back the remains of the fallen soldiers. Yes, and that was the very first class of the new semester. So we watched the news of the comeback of the remains of the fallen soldiers of the CPVs. The CPVs, they choose to go to the battleground to protect this country. And it is exactly because of this that we have the happy life that we are leading today. So what else do you want to tell them apart from a thank you? I want to tell them that we owe a gratitude to them for their sacrifice. Although they are very unfortunate, they are not leading a happy life as we do today, but I still like to say thank you to all the fallen heroes. So she's a very small kid, but she's wearing a red scarf that is actually dyed red using the blood of those martyrs who died before us. So thank you very much, and I hope that you can learn more about the stories of the heroes on the battleground of the Korean War. And today at the Shenyang Cemetery, we have with us Wang Chunjie, who is an instructor from the cemetery. Madam Wang, thank you for coming to this program. And we know that this cemetery was built in a year of the war. As the child has said that she can pick up stories of Huang Jiguang, Qiu Shaoyun, and Yang Gensi. So all those heroes, they are buried in this cemetery, and maybe later can we pay a visit to their tombs? Yes. A lot of the ordinary citizens come to this cemetery park to pay tribute to those fallen heroes. And yesterday at the message board, you can see a lot of the message card. The citizens in Shenyang, they came voluntarily to express their gratitude and tribute to those fallen heroes. And also you can see bunches of flowers here. Yesterday, the 8th batch of remains of Korean War soldiers came back to Shenyang. A lot of the citizens of Shenyang, they just come here voluntarily to present flowers. And yesterday, our staff collected all the flowers here. And I saw a lot of the message cards. For example, this one says, "Welcome back, the most respectable and most respected soldiers of the country." So they are the most respected people in China, and we want to welcome them back using our highest courtesy. So now let's enter this cemetery, and you can see there are two numbers of years, 1950 and 1953. They indicate the starting time and also the year the war finished. So when we enter this door, we are getting closer to the martyrs. And now let's get closer to that part of the history that is written by fire and blood. So this is the front square of the cemetery, and last year, to commemorate the 70th anniversary for China's People's Voluntary Army entering the Korean War. So we have a time axis at the central square. So they carry the timelines. For example, in 1950, the first gunshot was fired in the battleground. And then in 1952, a truce agreement was signed. So we're following this timeline on this central axis. And this is like a reflection of the past memories So we can see that after we enter this cemetery, we arrive at a front square, and there is a white-colored area. The carved with pigeons, and they represent peace. So standing in front of this sculpture, it's quite sentimental. People say that peace is not fought, but peace is something that we cherish. When a country is under threat from external aggression, all the Chinese sons and daughters, men and women, they will spare no effort in defending the dignity and security of a country. So today, we place a huge pigeon sculpture at the entrance of the cemetery. So this is reminding all of us that the peace and stability that we are enjoying today didn't come easy. So we're still walking on the square, and that part of the square was built or renovated upon the return of the 7th batch of the remains of the fallen heroes from the Korean War. At the time we renovated this square, we added more green trees to this area, and also we renovated the parking lot underground. So now we are going to arrive at a monument of this cemetery, and this was built in the year of 1951, and it takes an area of 200,000 square meters, and it consists of a monument, a square, and also the cemetery tombs. So what we are about to see is the highest building or structure in this cemetery, and this is the monument commemorating the Korean War. At the very top, you can see the national flag of China and also North Korea, and this represents the long-lasting friendship between these two countries. And also we have a CPV soldier carrying a gun, and at the monument there is a sentence that reads, "Long live the spirits of soldiers who fought in the Korean War." On both sides of the monument, we have some sculptures attached. Yes, on both sides of the sculpture, there are elements reflecting the fights and the wars that they fought in the battleground. So, in November 2019, we built a museum. It's a two-story museum, and it mainly tells the history of the Korean War. And to our knowledge, with the comeback of the remains of the fallen heroes, we have more artifacts and we have more belongings left over from those fallen heroes that are brought back, and there are more and more exhibits in those museums. So when the museum was opened on December 11, 2019, we exhibited 387 pieces of objects, and there are shoe soles of the fallen heroes, and there are also water kettles. On some of the water kettles, there are bullet holes. So we are walking along this timeline, so this is May the 13th and the July of 1953, and this is the War of Resistance. So we are coming to the very end of this timeline. So there are 3 different areas, and there are 3 different stages of this timeline, and each time we come to this monument, we can watch or see this monument from a distance. We can also see it up close. depending on where you stand, it's a different feeling in your heart. And when we approach the foot of the monument, we can see there is an oath that all of us take when we become a party member. And bear in mind that this is also a educational base for patriotism. And each year at important festivals, there are CPC members coming here to be re-educated, and they come here to pay tribute to these fallen heroes, and they refresh their oath that they have taken while joining the party. Well, this year marks the centenary of the Communist Party of China. A lot of the CPC members come here to refresh the memory that they had when they joined the party. So across the country, there are more than one cemetery. So I believe there are cemeteries for revolutionary martyrs of the Korean War in other cities, but this cemetery was built in 1951, and we accommodate a lot of the heroes, or the majority of the heroes, the most representative heroes. For example, Yang Gensi and Huang Jiguang, both heroes are buried here. So as I was asking the question, I remember that last year when I was broadcasting a program live here in a cemetery, I met a young lady from Shanghai, and she was holding a bunch of flowers at the back of the cemetery. And she was standing in front of the wall. She had her knees on the ground, and she was very sad and sentimental because her mother had been waiting for her father, and so that is why she brought a bunch of flowers for her dad. She never knew that there was a wall in Shenyang cemetery that carries the name of her father. And she still carries the letter written by his father from the battleground. And the letter reads that they were about to return to the country. But right when they were about to return to the country, they were bombarded by the enemy. So now this is the only place the young lady could remember her father. So we have the Martyrs Wall in the cemetery. And talking about the Wall of Martyrs, the wall was actually built in 2014. And we confirmed the names of the fallen soldiers, and altogether we have 197,000 soldiers. And right now, a lot of the Chinese don't know where their relatives, where their parents were buried, had they gone to the war of North Korea. So that is why they come to this wall and they came and searched the names of their relatives. And when they see their names, it feels that they are finally brought together with the lost ones. So that is why a lot of the people come here each year to find names of their beloved ones. And just a couple of days ago, a veteran of the CPV came here to find his lieutenant. And when he found the name of the lieutenant, he was very emotional. He was at a very senior age. And when he found the name, he quickly made a salute to the wall, and he told the name that, "I'm here for you, Lieutenant. Now everything is very good. Please rest in peace." So there are countless of very touching moments taking place here each and every day. As we have learned that the country and the party have always attached great importance to the burial of the fallen soldiers, and we welcome them back with the highest courtesy. But this is only the first step, because we have learned that after taking them back, we are going to take their DNA, as we have learned. The DNA extraction work is currently undergoing, and this includes the 8th batch of fallen heroes that are taken back, and after taking their DNA, they will be uploaded to a DNA database, and also the belongings left behind will be entered into an electronic database, and we have made important progress during this part of the efforts, and it's quite difficult because it's a long time ago. We have only limited information, and we have to rely also on science and technology, and we have to sort things out in a very reasonable manner so that their families can find them. And today, as we have learned from the effort, we have identified 4 fallen heroes, and their families are with us here today at the ceremony. And yesterday at the Taoxian International Airport of Shenyang, they welcomed back those fallen heroes. So right now we are standing in the middle of the tombs for those fallen heroes, and this is Yang Liandi, and he was a hero, and when the Luhai Road was broken through, he made important contributions. And in 1952, he was sacrificed because his troops was bombarded. And this is the tomb of Qiu Shaoyun. Everybody knows him, but few know that when his body was burned, his body was shortened to a length of only 1 meter, and you couldn't recognize any part of his body except his 2 hands that hold the ground firmly. And we also have hero Sun Zhanyuan right in front of us, and we have an underground part of the tomb and also the part that is above the ground. And this is Grade 1 hero Sun Zhanyuan, who passed away at the Shanganling battle. Beside the tomb of each and every fallen hero, there is a national flag, and this is the tomb of Huang Jiguang. So this is a special decoration for today. So when we were preparing for today's ceremony, we attached a national flag to each and every tomb. So this is expressing our deep emotion and deep gratitude to each and every one of them during the wartime. And this is not just a national flag, and when the 5-star flag is flying high, all the soldiers are in high spirits, and they know that they are fighting for this vast land that is represented by this flag. We have a huge number of heroes that are buried here, and we have altogether sacrificed 4 army-level generals, and 3 of them are buried here, and later we can pay a visit to their tombs. The Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs, they are open to the public 365 days of the year. Each and every day, there's a huge number of visitors who come and pay tribute to those fallen heroes. We are paying tribute to them, and we are telling them that right now, this country is at peace. People are leading happy lives, so we are telling them that their sacrifice has paid off. So as we continue walking, we can hear the background noise. We know that we are getting close to the venue of the ceremony that is about to take place today. So we have made a lot of preparation today. Actually, in the morning today, we came to the tomb of each and every fallen soldiers, and we presented a flower to express our deep gratitude. And those fallen heroes who died 70 years ago, their family have come back to their motherland. As we have learned today, and this cemetery is already accommodating 123 fallen heroes, and today they will be joined by another 109 soldiers who have fallen on the battleground of the Korean War 70 years ago. Later at the ceremony, we are going to broadcast the burial ceremony live, so you can follow our footage and right in front of us, and that is the venue where the ceremony is going to take place. And we have a white-colored mountain hill, and that represents the spirits of those heroes. The design comes from Himalayas, and it also reminds people of one sentence that goes very popular among the population here in China. The fighting spirits of our soldiers is just like mountains. So today we are going to broadcast this burial ceremony of remains of Korean War soldiers live, and this is a very good opportunity for us to cherish their fighting spirits and their dedication, and also cherish our happy life today. And we are right now at the countdown to the ceremony, and later at this venue, the burial ceremony will take place at 10 o'clock.
您现在看到的是第8批在韩志愿军烈士遗骸安葬仪式特别报道。这里是辽宁丹东。
You're now watching a special program on the burial ceremony of the remains of the Korean War soldiers, and this is the Yalu River in Dandong of Liaoning. On both sides of the river are two different countries. On one side of the river is North Korea, and the other side China, and this is the Yalu River Bridge, and this is a landmark building. In 1950s, one of the bridges was bombarded, and now the other bridge left over was called China-North Korea Friendship Bridge, and the other bridge is called the Broken Bridge. What you now see is the Kwandian Manchuria Autonomous County. We are watching this broken bridge. In 1951, the 39th Army and the 40th Army of the PLA went secretly to North Korea. In the end of 1951, the bridge was bombarded by U.S. troops. Now on the Chinese side, we have 60% of the length of the bridge, and on the North Korean side, we still have 40% of the length of the bridge. And right now in the footage is the Dandong Museum for the war aiding North Korea against U.S. aggression. In this museum, we have a lot of exhibits telling people the story of the Korean War. And the museum was built in 1958, and it accommodates 20,000 pieces of objects reflecting the story and history of the Korean War. And last year it was renovated and made open to the public. And people of all walks of the society come here to pay tribute to the fallen heroes and to refresh their historic memories. So what you now see in the footage is the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs in 1951 to commemorate those who died in the Korean War, and this cemetery was built. It takes an area of 200,000 square meters, and it consists of martyrs, tombs, and also monuments, as well as museums.
我现在呢是在沈阳桃仙国际机场的专机停机。
Yesterday morning at 11 o'clock, the military aircraft came at the Shenyang International Airport. I'm right now at the airport. While entering the Chinese territory, there are 2 fighter jets accompanied the military aircraft. When they were about to land at the airport, the 2 fighter jets fly at a low altitude. Soldiers line up to welcome back the caskets carrying the remains of the fallen soldiers. And at the airport, there was a very sacred ceremony held. All the soldiers present there yesterday took 3 bows to the fallen heroes. Families of CPV soldiers, government officials, and 200 other representatives attended the ceremony. The government spared no effort in bringing back my great-grandfather back home. My great-grandfather will rest in peace that this country is now at peace. After remains are put in the box, they are transported to the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs. Along the road, a lot of the citizens line up by the side of the street to express their tribute to the fallen heroes. It's been 70 years and today they are finally back, so we are using our highest courtesies to express our gratitude and tribute to all those fallen heroes. And I feel very satisfied that they are back today. My fellow soldiers, you are finally back, and today you can see how strong and powerful your motherland is and what happy life people are leading. And right now, we are hosting the burial ceremony for 109 remains of the Korean War soldiers. 70 years ago, the Korean War was fought, and this is an important war in the history of the People's Republic of China. And since 3 and 4 years ago, the repatriation of the remains of the Korean War soldiers was initiated, starting from 2014 to 2020. A total of 176 fallen soldiers have been returned to the motherland, and they are buried at the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs. In 2013, an agreement was reached between China and South Korea to repatriate the fallen soldiers. In the end of 2013, the first batch of the remains of the Korean War soldiers were brought back from the Incheon airport of South Korea. After entering the Chinese territory, 2 fighter jets were dispatched to accompany the military aircraft carrying the remains of the fallen heroes. In March 2015, the second batch of 68 fallen soldiers were brought back. In March 2016, the third batch of 36 fallen soldiers were brought back. In 2017, in March, the fourth batch of 28 fallen soldiers were brought back. In 2018, in March, the fifth batch of 20 soldiers fallen on the battleground of North Korea were brought back. And in June 2019, the sixth batch of 10 fallen soldiers were brought back. And in September 2019, the seventh batch of 117 fallen soldiers were brought back. 70 years ago, those fallen soldiers died. The soldiers died for this motherland, and starting between 2014 and 2020, 7 batches of more than 700 fallen soldiers were brought back and buried at the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs for the CPV soldiers. So this is the 8th consecutive year that we are repatriating the fallen soldiers from South Korea to China, and yesterday from the handover ceremony at the Shenyang International Airport, you saw that ceremony, and how do you make of the significance of that? So you can see that for 8 consecutive years we are bringing back those fallen heroes using this ceremony. And what are those soldiers and what are those heroes? And they are the most respectable, they are the most honored soldiers. And last year at the conference commemorating the 70th anniversary for the CPV's entry in North Korea for the war of resistance against U.S. aggression, General Secretary Xi Jinping said that those soldiers, they wrote an important chapter in the history of the People's Republic of China. And 2 months ago at the ceremony commemorating the centenary of the Communist Party of China, General Secretary Xi said all the sacrifice, all the efforts made are aimed at the rejuvenation of the great Chinese nation. So it is this very important chapter that they wrote that have laid a foundation for today's success. So we have to bring them back using the highest courtesy. So we are expressing our tribute, respect, and also our resolve to those fallen heroes. And from yesterday to today, you can feel the level of tribute that we have paid to these CPV soldiers. And we are also paying tribute to more than 197,000 fallen heroes from the Korean War battleground. We're expressing our gratitude and respect for those who died in the battleground and who sacrificed their lives for peace and stability of this nation. The Chinese ambassador to South Korea covered a national flag on each and every casket of the remains of the Korean War soldiers. And you can see those female soldiers slow down their paces of walk. And from those details, you can experience, you can feel this great respect that we have for those fallen soldiers. You can also see from the facial expression of the veterans, and you know that they are just ordinary people in the middle of the Chinese population. But we remember them, we commemorate their fighting spirit. It is in this way that we express our resolve in defending peace, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. So when these martyrs return to their motherland, and when they see that the country that they defended with their life is now at peace and prosperity, so we can know that history is just a textbook. From the textbook we can gain strength and power from the past. And you mentioned that at this ceremony commemorating the centenary of the Communist Party of China, General Secretary Xi said that the great fighting spirit must be carried on. So in today's environment, how do we better carry forward this fighting spirit from the Korean War? And last year at the conference commemorating the 70th anniversary of the war, General Secretary Xi said that because of this war, China is at peace, and there is a lot of patriotism and also heroism and optimism for those revolutionary martyrs. So to understand the spirit of the Korean War, there's one key word, and that is perseverance. And last year at the conference, General Secretary Xi said that no matter when, no matter at what stage of the history, we have to demonstrate the resilience and the strength of the Chinese nation. 70 years ago, it was quite this symmetry gap between China and the United States. And according to Chairman Mao, at the time the United States had more steel, but we had more spirit. And we remember that a lot of the troops at the Korean War, a lot of the veterans, they are saying that now we have more spirits and we also have more steel. So in today's time, we have to carry forward the spirits of the Korean War, and we have to highlight these fighting spirits. It is this fighting spirit that can inspire us to march ahead with great success. Today is September the 3rd. It's also a date commemorating the success of the Chinese People's War against Japanese aggression. And there is same spirit in the Korean War. Yesterday, on September the 8th, General Secretary Xi Jinping summarized the spirits fighting the coronavirus pandemic. And there is something that these spirits share in common, that is fighting and persistence and perseverance. And that is the spiritual wealth of the Communist Party of China. And we also have the spirits of building the party, not being afraid of death and willing to sacrifice. So this is the spirit that we need when we are marching ahead. We also have the Daqing spirits, the Iron Mind spirits, the spirits of willing to sacrifice, and also this spirits of astronauts, and also the spirits of dedication and commitment. And there's also the spirits of remembering where we started, remain committed to our original missions and goals, and also this Saihanba spirit, as General Secretary Xi Jinping has just mentioned a couple of days ago. So we have never ran shortage of the spirits. So we have to leverage these spirits to march ahead, to weather through the difficulties we are facing currently. So those heroic men and women who died 70 years ago, their spirits are with us today. So right now, the burial ceremony for remains of the Korean War soldiers is about to take place in the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs. And now let's move to the ceremony. And today at the ceremony, we have Minister of the Ministry of Veteran Affairs, Mr. Sun Shaocheng, and also representatives of the Liaison Department of the CPC, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Veteran Affairs, and political departments of the Central Military Commission, and also representatives from the military committee and commissions of China, and also the military zone of Liaoning, and also Liaoning provincial governments and Shenyang municipal governments. We also have family members of the CPV soldiers, family members of the fallen heroes, and representatives of the military. Now I would like to announce the opening of the burial ceremony.
奏唱中华人民共和国国歌。请退役军人事务部部长孙少逞同志致祭文。
志愿军烈士安葬祭文。为辛丑年丙申月甲寅日，中华军民仅致祭于志愿军烈士陵前，负恩守在四邑，先贤之训，屈骨鼎新，语出有信。壮士怀德，既身锋刃，何以鬼雄，金石为镇。一袭腰射大川，开国用命。青地若云，深雪莫境。尝尽苦寒，上甘为岭。人时何惧，其训卓炳。为前元之来复，向兵革至方间。既登车而不顾，为取义而忘旋。早即位于四世，振民志于百年。统凌路之朝远，留意欲长眠。日居月柱，野旷天清。骨肉汪绝，国人思颖。为离恨以不息，树山海之可平。弃忠魂之如梦，训来者之于情。负牵扯以谢法，跳归威以相迎。安故敬于丧子，以同炮之焚营。欢喜归来，不点青山。实民之愿，观国之光。
Satisfied to see peace and prosperity of this country. When the military is strong, the country will be powerful. And today China is standing at the eastern part of the planet, strong and powerful and confident. And those soldiers, they will be able to rest in peace in their motherland. And we know that their spirits are with us forever. take off our hats and take 3 bows to the fallen heroes. Fire salute guns and pay tribute to CPB soldiers. Lift the casket.
好，刚才我们看到的是在沈阳抗美援朝烈士陵园举行的第8批在韩中国人民志愿军烈士遗骸安葬仪式。那我们演播室呢继续和
Korean War soldiers, and this is the 8th batch of the remains of the fallen heroes, and we are joined by our guest at the studio, and just now we saw that. It's quite sentimental and emotional, and we always say that no matter how the times change, our respect and memory for those fallen heroes will stay unchanged. So what significance do you make of today's ceremony? And there is a very realistic significance, and we have to use the burial ceremony to draw attention from all walks of society. And when we do so, we are carrying forward the spirits of those fallen soldiers. And I believe that a lot of you know this story. There was a soldier at the war. It was at the Changjin Lake, and 125 soldiers frozen to death. And one of the soldiers wrote a poem, and he said that even freezing to death, I will stand tall and still on my foothold in the battleground. And today, each and every one of us should stand firmly on our positions for the prosperity of this country. And today, we are not just welcoming back those fallen heroes, we are carrying forward these great spirits of them each and every year. On September the 1st, at the first class of the new semester, our school children, they are paying tribute for those soldiers, and each year, on the morning of September the 3rd, leaders of the party and the country, they are presenting flowers to the monuments of people's heroes at the Tiananmen Square. And we also have the granting ceremonies for the July the 1st medal and also other medals. And in this year's July the 1st, 29 soldiers, they received the July 1st medals, and General Secretary Xi said that we have to stand the test of the new times, and we have to win this test. And just 1 year ago, there was a conference held to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the war against the U.S. aggression by aiding North Korea. And today we need to carry forward this spirit. We have to be prepared for even arduous fights. A couple of days ago, at the semester opening ceremony of the Central Party School, General Secretary Xi said that if you always want to lead a comfortable life and never think about the changing environment of our times, that is not acceptable. Today we have tremendous opportunities, but we also face arduous challenges and difficulties. So that is why General Secretary Xi reminded the cadres of the party that we have to be persistent with our fighting spirits, and we can take no step back on issues that related to principles and to our fundamental interests. And when we are making progress as a nation, we have to deliver happiness to our peoples. From yesterday to today at the ceremony, we saw the fighting spirit of the soldiers, and also we saw the transportation military aircraft, and we also heard the salute gunshots, and we felt the fighting spirits of the Chinese people. And we have never bullied any other nation in the past, and we will never do that in the future. And this is stressed and reiterated by General Secretary Xi at the Tiananmen Square. And whoever attempts to bully China will have their heads bashed bloody in front of the Great Wall made by the Chinese people. So those soldiers and they carried forward this spirit on battleground. And when we take this fighting spirit to the construction of socialism with China's characteristics, we have to stand firm and steadfast. And I believe that each and every one of us will spare no effort in building this country for a better place. Since modern times, all the soldiers who died for this country, they will be remembered. All the soldiers who died for independence and liberation of the country, they will be remembered. And all those who fought for the liberation of the country from foreign aggression will be remembered. And they are the heroes of the nation, and they are the glory of this country. At different times, we have different types of heroes. A country with hope cannot go without heroes. All the heroes of the nation, including those CPV soldiers who fell on the ground of the Korean War, they will be remembered, and their fighting spirits will be carried on. Soldiers, we have not forgotten you. Your family has not forgotten you. Your generals have not forgotten you. This motherland has not forgotten you. I'm happy. I'm also very sad. I'm happy that they are back after 70 years. I'm sad because we came back alive and they came back as fallen heroes. And this is a grand ceremony for the repatriation of our fallen heroes. We miss you. This country misses you.
央视新闻的网友朋友们，大家好，我是总台记者郭威。我现在所在的呢是沈阳抗美援朝烈士陵园的下沉式
My name
纪
is
念广
Guo
场。
Wei.
那么刚
I'm
刚啊，
with
在这里，在
China
10点钟
Media
的时候
Group.
呢，
I'm right now at the Shenyang Cemetery of Revolutionary Martyrs, and just now at 10 o'clock, we completed the burial ceremony for the 8th batch of remains of Korean War soldiers, and we saw the details, and this is truly a grand ceremony. 240 representatives from all walks of society, they witnessed this grand ceremony, and we have noticed that there are 5,000 chrysanthemums of different colors. They are surrounding this square, and they are at the heroes' wall, and we also have flower baskets placed in a circle as a tribute to those fallen heroes. And we have noticed another detail, and that is that there are salute gunshots, and we are right now at the center of the ceremony, and at the very center of the square there is a mountain-shaped sculpture which represents the fighting spirits of the CPV soldiers. And today we are also joined by the family members of those fallen heroes. This heroes' wall was built specifically for those fallen heroes. It carries more than 170,000 names. On September 1st this month, we identified the blood relationship, the biological relationship between those fallen soldiers and their family members. And their family members are with us today at this ceremony. And later, their family members will go to their tombs to pay tribute. And today we're going to walk closer into their stories. And today I'm joined by Director Xiao of the cemetery, and he can have a recap of those stories over the years. So from 2004 up until present, we started to repatriate the fallen heroes. And can you give us a brief summary of this process? From 2004 to 2021, we have welcomed back 8 batches of 825 fallen soldiers. In 2015, at the second batch, we had 68 fallen soldiers come back. So in the future, in the subsequent years, there were the third batch and the fourth batch. So all those fallen soldiers, they were buried here. And in 2019, we had 6. And in 2020, the 7th batch had 117 fallen soldiers come back. And they had been buried in a foreign land for 70 years. But today we are hosting this grand ceremony to welcome them back. From 2014 to 2020, a total of 716 fallen soldiers were repatriated. And today, this is the 8th batch of fallen soldiers repatriated. And this year we have 109 fallen soldiers. And we also welcomed back more than 1,000 pieces of their belongings. Actually, those fallen soldiers, they're not just coming back to their motherland, but also to their families. And today we have a lot of family members of those fallen heroes who are here at the ceremony. And there were ceremonies in the past. And so what are the innovations that we have this year? Truly, we have engaged in a lot of innovations, and this year marks the centenary of the CPC and also the 70th anniversary for the founding of this cemetery. And this cemetery is a base of patriotism education. We engaged in education of patriotism, and we have a series of activities at the museum. For example, interviews with veterans, a conversation with those family members. We have collected documentaries and songs related to the Korean War. So we have a representative of the CPV family here, and let's have a conversation with him. Hi. I can see that you are quite emotional. So, who are you paying tribute to? I'm the grandson of Zhang Shizhong.
对亲人的思念是非常的动容，而且让我们非常的感动。我们永远会纪念这些英雄，纪念这些烈士。
Truly, this is an emotional moment. We miss those fallen soldiers. And you brought back the soil from your homeland.
我们看到烈士的家属呢，是将故乡的一抔黄土摆在了烈士的面前。
So just now we saw that
带着家乡和亲人们，
the family member of a fallen hero brought the earth of his hometown to this cemetery as the tribute to the fallen hero. And where are you from? My name is Zhang Qixiang. I'm the great-grandson of hero Zhang Shizhong. I said a few words to my great-grandfather. And what did you say? I'm here on behalf of my grandfather. I came today together with my father and my uncle. We brought some earth from our homeland, and this is a tribute that we paid to our great-grandfather. So this is the folk customs in my local place. So I brought a pile of earth and soil from my homeland so my great-grandfather can rest in peace finally. What did your family members told you before this trip? They all want to pay a visit themselves, but they couldn't make it here today because of illness. So that is why I'm here today with my uncle as well. So do you have any memories of him? My grandfather told me his story. And my grandfather was only a couple of years old when he left the country. So when your grandfather was only 6, 7 years old, his father left the country and went to the front line of the battlefield. Yes. So you don't have any memories of him. I, of course, have no memories of him, but my grandfather oftentimes tell me stories about him. I later learned that my great-grandfather died in a battleground, and my grandfather couldn't believe it was real. And today we are very satisfied that he is brought back after 70 years. Have you been to the ceremony in previous years? No, this is the first time. Have you found the name of your great-grandfather? Yes. Where is it? It's there. So you can see in a 10th line from the top and the 5th from the right side is the name of Zhang Shizhong. So history will remember that he died for this country. And it goes beyond words, but we can still express our tribute to the fallen hero with a pail of earth from his hometown. So what impact will this have on your life? I will learn from my great-grandfather. I will make more contributions to our motherland. I will carry forward his spirit. When he left, China was not like it is today. China was not like what it is today, and today's life is the result of their sacrifice. And we have to always bear in mind their great and noble sacrifices. So when you return to your home, what do you plan to tell the other members of our family? I will tell all the members in my family that my great-grandfather is now resting in peace in his homeland, in his home country. He's taken very good care of by this country right now. You can tell them to come in future ceremonies so that they can also pay tribute to your great-grandfather. They will always remember the sacrifice made by your great-grandfather. You will also tell the story to more people in your home. Yes, I will tell the story of my great-grandfather to more people around me, and they will be also inspired by the story. So this generation will carry forward this spirit, and we will always learn from the fighting spirit of my great-grandfather. So where is this soil from? And this is from Zhumadian of Henan province. So your great-grandfather will smell the flavor of this earth. So he knows he is now back in his home country. He's now with us. He's now with the family as long as we remember. So he will be always living alive. He will always be alive among us. Thank you. Thank you very much. So that was a very touching moment. We interviewed the family of Zhan Shizhong, who was a fallen hero from the battleground of the Korean War. So we know that the heroes are just living among us, and more people, they are expressing their tribute to their great-grandfather. And now let's get close to another family of the fallen hero, and let's get to know more touching stories.